He was the first and only professional wrestler who transitioned from sports into politics, and he did it successfully, defying the odds. I'm Todd Tanner. This is Wrestling News Now. Tonight I'm talking about Jesse the Body Ventura. How did he do it? Well, let's get right down to it. Jesse Ventura, who was born James George Janos, July 15, 1951, is an American politician, actor, and retired professional wrestler. After achieving fame in the World Wrestling Federation, he served as the 38th governor of Minnesota from 1999 to 2003. He was elected governor with the Reform Party and is the party's only candidate to win a major government office. Ventura was a member of the U.S. Navy underwater demolition team during the Vietnam War. After leaving the military, he embarked on a professional wrestling career from 1975 to 1986, taking the ring name Jesse the Body Ventura. He had a lengthy tenure in the WWF/WWE as a performer and color commentator and was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2004. In addition to wrestling, Ventura pursued an acting career, appearing in films such as Predator and The Running Man, both released in 1987 and starring fellow actor-turned-governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. Ventura entered politics in 1991 when he was elected mayor of Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, a position he held until 1995. He was the Reform Party candidate in the 1998 Minnesota gubernatorial election, running a low-budget campaign centered on grassroots events and unusual ads that urged citizens not to vote for politics as usual. In a major upset, Ventura defeated both the Democratic and Republican nominees. Amid internal fights for control over the party, Ventura left the Reform Party a year after taking office and served the remainder of his governorship with the Independence Party of Minnesota. Since holding public office, Ventura has called himself a statesman rather than a politician. As governor, Ventura oversaw reforms of Minnesota's property tax as well as the state's first sales tax rebate. Other initiatives he took included construction of the Metro Blue Line, a light rail in the Minnesota-St. Paul metropolitan area, and income tax cuts. Ventura did not run for re-election. After leaving office in 2003. He became a visiting fellow at Harvard University's John F. Kennedy School of Government. He has since hosted a number of television shows and written several books. Ventura remains politically active, having hosted several political shows on RT America and Aura TV, and has repeatedly floated the idea of running for president of the United States as a third party or independent candidate. In April 2020, Ventura endorsed the Green Party in the 2020 presidential election and showed interest in running for its nomination. He officially joined the Green Party of Minnesota on May 2nd. On May 7th, he confirmed he would not run. The Alaskan division of the Green Party nominated Ventura without his involvement, causing the National Party to disown it for abandoning its nominee, Howie Hawkins. Ventura was born James George Janos on July 15, 1951, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, the son of George William Janos and his wife Bernice Martha Nealance. Both his parents were World War II veterans. Ventura has an older brother who served in the Vietnam War. Ventura has described himself as Slavic, since his father's parents were from Kingdom of Hungary. His mother was of German descent. Ventura was raised as a Lutheran. Born in South Minneapolis by the Lake Street Bridge, he attended Cooper Elementary School, Sanford Junior High School, and graduated from Roosevelt High School in 1969. Roosevelt High School inducted Ventura into its first Hall of Fame in September 2014. Ventura served in the United States Navy from December 1, 1969 to September 10, 1975. during the Vietnam War but did not see combat. He graduated in Buds/S, Class 58 in December 1970, and was part of the underwater demolition team. Ventura has frequently referred to his military career in public statements and debates. He was criticized by hunters and conservatives for saying, in a 2001 interview with the Minneapolis Star-Tribune, "Until you have hunted men, you haven't hunted yet." Near the end of his Navy service, Ventura began to spend time with the South Bay chapter of the Mongols Motorcycle Club in San Diego. He would ride on to Naval Base Corando on his Harley Davidson, pardon that slip up there, wearing his Mongol colors. According to Ventura, he was a full-patch member of the club and third in command of his chapter, but never had any problems with the authorities. In the fall of 1974, Ventura left the bike club to return to the Twin Cities. Shortly after that, the Mongols entered into open warfare with their biker rivals, the Hells Angels. Ventura attended North Hennepin Community College in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, in suburban Minnesota, or Minneapolis, during the mid-1970s. At the same time, he began weightlifting and wrestling. He was a bodyguard for the Rolling Stones for a time before he entered professional wrestling and adopted the wrestling name Jesse Ventura. Ventura created the stage name Jesse the Body Ventura to go with the persona of a bullish beach bodybuilder, picking the name Ventura from a map as part of his bleach blonde from California gimmick. As a wrestler, Ventura performed as a heel, resurrecting Gorgeous George's old motto of win if you can, lose if you must, but cheat always, which he embolized on his t-shirts. Much of this flamboyant persona was adopted from superstar Billy Graham, a charismatic and popular performer during the 1970s. Years later, as a broadcaster, Ventura made a running joke out of claiming that Graham stole all his ring attire ideas from him. In 1975, Ventura made his debut in the Central States Territory before moving to the Pacific Northwest, where he wrestled for promoter Don Owen as Jesse the Great Ventura. During his stay in the Portland, Oregon, he had notable feuds with Dutch Savage and Jimmy Snuka, and won the Pacific Northwest wrestling title twice, once from each wrestler, and the tag team title 5 times, twice with Bull Ramos and Playboy Buddy Rose, and once with Jerry Oates. He later moved to his hometown promotion, the American Wrestling Association in Minnesota, and began teaming with Adrian Adonis as the East-West Connection in 1979. In his RF video shoot in 2012, he revealed that shortly after he arrived in the AWA, he was given the nickname The Body by Vern Gagne. The duo won the AWA World Tag Team Championship on July 20th, 1980, on a forfeit when Gagne, one half of the tag team champions along with Mad Dog Vachon, failed to show up for a title defense in Denver, Colorado. The duo held the belts for nearly a year, losing to the High Flyers, Greg Gagne and Jim Brunzell. Shortly after losing the belts, the duo moved on to the World Wrestling Federation, where they were managed by Freddie Blassie. Although the duo was unable to capture the World Tag Team Championship, both Adonis and Ventura became single titles contenders, each earning several title shots at World Heavyweight Champion Bob Backlund. Ventura continued to wrestle until September 1984, after 3 back-to-back losses to world champion Hulk Hogan, when blood clots in his lungs effectively ended his in-ring career. He claimed that the clots were a result of exposure to Agent Orange during his time in Vietnam. Ventura returned to the ring in 1985, forming a tag team with Randy Savage and Savage's manager and real-life wife, Miss Elizabeth. Often after their televised matches, Ventura taunted and challenged fellow commentator Bruno Sammartino, but nothing ever came of this. Ventura participated in a 6-man tag team match in December 1985 when he, Roddy Piper, and Bob Orton defeated Hillbilly Jim, Uncle Elmer, and Cousin Luke in a match broadcast on Saturday night's main event 4. The tag team match against the Hillbillies came about after Piper and Orton interrupted Elmer's wedding ceremony on the previous edition of the show. Ventura, who later claimed that he was under instruction from fellow commentator and WWF owner Vince McMahon to bury them, insulted Elmer and his wife during commentary of a real wedding ceremony at the Meadowlands Arena by proclaiming when they kissed, it looks like two carp in the middle of the Mississippi River going after the same piece of corn. According to Ventura, the wedding was real, for at that time the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board would not allow the WWF to stage a fake wedding in the state of New Jersey. So, Stan Frazier, Uncle Elmer, and his fiancée had agreed to have a real in-ring wedding. After a failed comeback bid, Ventura hosted his own talk segment on WWF's All-Star Wrestling TV program called The Body Shop, in much the same heel style as Piper's Pit, though the setting was a mock gym where Ventura was unavailable. The Body Shop was often hosted by Don Morocco. He began to do color commentary on television for All-Star Wrestling, replacing Angelo Mosca, and later Superstars of Wrestling, initially alongside Vince McMahon and the semi-retired Bruno Sammartino, and then just with McMahon after Sammartino's departure for the WWE in early 1988. Ventura most notably co-hosted Saturday night's main event with McMahon. The first 6 WrestleManias, 5 of which were alongside Gorilla Monsoon, and most of the WWF's pay-per-views at the time with Monsoon, with the lone exception for Ventura being the first SummerSlam, in which he served as the guest referee during the main event. Ventura's entertaining commentary style was an extension of his wrestling persona, i.e. a heel, as he was partial to the villains, so something new and different at the time. McMahon, who was always looking for ways of jazzing things up, came up with the idea of Ventura doing heel commentary at a time when most commentators, including McMahon, himself openly favored the fan favorites. But Ventura still occasionally gave credit where it was due, praising the athleticism of fan favorites such as Ricky Steamboat and Randy Savage, who was championed by Ventura for years, even when he was a face, a point Ventura regularly made on air to McMahon and Monsoon. Occasionally, he would even acknowledge mistakes made by the heels, including those made by his personal favorites, such as Savage, or wrestlers managed by heels, Bobby Heenan and Jimmy Hart. One notable exception to this rule was the WrestleMania 6 Ultimate Challenge title match between WWF Champion Hulk Hogan and the WWF Intercontinental Champion, the Ultimate Warrior. Since they were both fan favorites, Ventura took a neutral position in his commentary, even praising Hogan's display of sportsmanship at the end of the match when he handed over the WWF Championship belt to the Warrior after he lost the title, stating that Hogan was going out like a true champion. During the match, however, which was almost the last match at WrestleMania he called, Ventura did voice his pleasure when both broke the rules at one point, claiming, "This is what I like. Let the two goody two-shoes throw the rule book out and get nasty." Ventura's praise of Hogan's action was unusual for him because he regularly rooted against Hogan during his matches, usually telling fellow commentator Monsoon after Hogan had won the championship match at a WrestleMania that he might come out of retirement and take this dude out. Hogan and Ventura were at one point close friends, but Ventura abruptly ended the friendship in 1994 after he discovered during his lawsuit against McMahon that Hogan was the one who had told McMahon about Ventura's attempt to form a labor union in 1986 before WrestleMania 2. Following a dispute with McMahon over the use of his image for promoting a Sega product, while McMahon had a contract with rival company Nintendo, At the time, the WWF owner released Ventura from the company in August 1990. Ventura later served as a radio announcer for a few National Football League teams, among them the Minnesota Vikings and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In February 1992, at Super Brawl II, Ventura joined World Championship Wrestling as a commentator. WCW President Eric Bischoff ultimately released him for allegedly falling asleep during the WCW Worldwide TV taping at Disney MGM Studios in July 1994. But it has been speculated that the move may have had more to do with Hogan's arrival shortly before. This is part one. Jesse, the Body, Ventura, the one and only. For Wrestling News Now, I'm Todd Tanner.